Live. It's Sunday, May 11, 2025. It's the Mother's Day show. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. I've also got some Muppet pals here with me because if you saw my post from the other night with my good friend Rick Pixon, the Muppets celebrating 70 years, the 70th anniversary of the Muppets, this big campaign now going on. I guess part of it's been going on a little bit at Disney parks and other things going on, but officially the 70th anniversary of the Muppets was Friday. Amazing. These iconic characters, so many others. If you haven't seen the documentary Jim Henson Idea Man from Ron Howard, I mentioned to him at the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards in November how good it was. Check it out on Disney Plus. It's very good. A real in-depth look at the life and career of Jim Henson, how he got the Muppets going, and the impact of it. 70 years of the Muppets is amazing. Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for being here for LCJ Live. Send in your questions and your comments. We're going to get to the box office. We're going to preview the movies opening up this week. I'm going to give you some fun facts and things. I've got a TV review highlight I can officially share now at this exact minute, at this exact moment, because the embargo just lifted, that I have seen the first 2 episodes of Tucci in Italy. It's Stanley Tucci's return to TV about Italy, going there, tasting the food, everything with that. He had Searching for Italy on CNN. This new show, Tucci in Italy, is on Nat Geo and Disney Plus, and it starts next Sunday, May 18th at 8 p.m., a 2-hour premiere. I have seen both episodes. It's very good. What I like about it is not just him tasting the food, gorgeous looking food, the locations, and him having a great time, which is what made the other show so good. It's a little more intimate. It's a little more of a unique experience. And we go to some unique places, some activities, meet all these really interesting people, and even more personal stories. It's a little more behind the curtain. There's the Nat Geo angle, so it's a little more about the agriculture and the earth impact and health. And again, more personal stories that we didn't quite get on the other show. So I like this a lot. I'm looking forward to watching the other 3 episodes that are coming this season. I think he taped 10. So I think they're going to break them up 5 and 5. That's what it seems like. But the first 5 episodes start next Sunday on Nat Geo. They'll be available on Disney Plus as well for Tucci in Italy. The embargo just lifted, so I can talk about that 1 week early. That's a good sign that, of course, Nat Geo likes the show, and Stanley Tucci should be proud of the show. What a week for Stanley Tucci. Not only this, but to be a part of the movie Conclave that won him a SAG Ensemble Award, Adapted Screenplay Oscar, and of course, now we have our new Pope. So there you go. Let's talk box office. Number 1 is Thunderbolts. Now, I posted the other day, hey, I've been looking at the box office for 20 years. I've been analyzing it, and there have been a lot of cases where movies open, and they're number 1 for 1 or 2 weeks, and then they drop to second, something else opens, but then that second place movie rises above that other film the following weekend back to number 1. I thought there was a very good chance that that could happen with Sinners this weekend, because I was just feeling it. All these Marvel movies have had big drops, not as big of an impact as other Marvel movies in the past. So I said that it was going to be a $28 to $25 million battle. And that totals $53 million. What ended up happening is Thunderbolts winning with 33.1 and Sinners with 21.1. So a bit of a gap, a $12 million gap. But when you add up those 2 numbers, that gets $54.2 million. So I was only off by about $1 million total when it comes to these 2 movies. Netflix just announced the air date for the documentary about a true crime book I wrote, says Pete Crooks, called Trainwreck PI Bombs. Airs July 22. There you go. Congratulations, Pete. Thanks for being here today on LCJ Live. So you've got these 2 films. Thunderbolts is up to $128.5 million. That is a 55% drop from last weekend, which is okay. It's in line with Shang-Chi, I guess. It's not bad. It's not extraordinary. 33.1, I was seeing some estimates of $38 million for this second weekend. And like I said, I thought it was going to do 28. So kind of right in between. Sinners with 21.1, I thought it could do a little more, but still an excellent 4th weekend for Sinners. It's up to $214.4 million. It has now passed Captain America to become the second biggest movie of the year, only behind a Minecraft movie, which is in third this weekend. With $8 million, it's up to $409 million. Wonder Woman for Warner Brothers did 412.6 back in 2017, so it is going to pass that to become the fourth biggest Warner Brothers movie ever, not adjusted for inflation, only behind Barbie, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. That's going to happen probably at some point later this week, and that is incredible for a Minecraft movie. Number 4 this weekend, The Accountant 2, 6.1 million. It's up to 50.9 for Amazon MGM. Not bad, but far from that 86 million for the first Accountant. I would say this will get to about 61, 62 million dollars. Yeah, there's another film. I'll get to Pete, your comment in a second. Clown in a Cornfield. I want to mention Clown in a Cornfield because as far as the IFC Entertainment Group, which consists of IFC Films, Shudder, and RLJE, this is the biggest opening weekend ever. $3.7 million for Clown in a Cornfield is the biggest IFC open ever, beating Late Night with the Devil from last year, which did 2.8 million, totaled 10 million. It had very good legs. So we'll see if Clown in a Cornfield can get to 10 million. I don't know. Horror movies have big drops second weekend, but it is a big congratulations to the folks at IFC Entertainment Group, rebranding themselves as that, sort of IFC Films name kind of going away for this $3.7 million opening weekend. Pete saw Bring Her Back, which is coming out in a couple weeks, and Friendship, also two classics, Graduate and Boogie Nights. I'll talk about Friendship in a minute here on LCJ Live. Number 6 this weekend. All right, we had a tie, basically, a three-way tie for 6 this weekend. The one that's currently in the lead is Shadow Force. Kerry Washington, Omar Sy action movie. They did a lot of press for this. Only $2 million for this Lionsgate action movie that moved. It was originally supposed to open last weekend. They wanted to give it a Mother's Day weekend open. Still only does $2 million. Also with $2 million this weekend is Fight or Flight, which I saw on Monday. Wow, not a good film. It takes itself too seriously and then tries to be goofy, and then it's the ultra action violence and a John Wick copycat. And Josh Hartnett, it's a wackadoo over-the-top performance. And no, this didn't work for me at all. Just $2 million for Fight or Flight. I guess it's also on VOD, though I have to fully confirm that. So $2 million, even though it's on VOD, but a lot of that money came from those AMC Screen Unseen and Regal Monday Mystery Movie $5 screenings. If you can go to a movie for less than the ticket price, the normal ticket price, if it's considerably less, you're gonna go. We saw that with Legend of Ochi. We saw that with Drop. It had a bigger Friday because it not only combined Thursday, Friday, but also the early previews. By the way, I want to mention Drop before I get to the other film in 6 this weekend. Drop is only up to 16.6 million, and when I look at all the movies that have come out this year, and I say, what's the movie that a major studio thought was going to do a lot better than it actually did? My answer is Drop. I think Universal and Blumhouse thought it was going to do double 16.6 million. I really think they thought it was going to do more than 30 because of these younger actors in these roles and this the hook and the premise, and they did a lot of marketing and the posters and the date night feel, and it only does 16.6 million because it's not a good film. So that's that. When I think about what's a big disappointment, yes, you have Snow White, you have others, but I look at Drop and I go, I think Universal thought it was going to do much better than that. Also in 6 this weekend with $2 million, Until Dawn. It's up to 18 million for Sony Screen Gems. Number 9 this weekend, The Amateur, 1.1 million. It's being in a lot of drive-ins with Thunderbolts. So was Snow White this weekend, which I'll mention in a second. But The Amateur did 1.1. It's up to $39 million for 20th Century. Here's a fun fact for you. Over the last 3.5 years, since December of 2021, 20th Century Studios has released 8 films that have done a range of $37 million to $46 million. 8 movies. The King's Man, West Side Story, Death on the Nile, Barbarian, The Creator, A Haunting in Venice, The Boogeyman, and now The Amateur. 8 movies in that range in 3.5 years from the same studio. 20th Century hasn't released as many movies as 20th Century Fox did. Some of their bigger successes have been Alien Romulus and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and of course, Avatar The Way of Water. The First Omen only did 20 million. There were a few other films. Ron's Gone Wrong only did 23 million. And then you have 8 films in this very particular range of moderate to not great. And The Amateur is now one of those at 39 million. Because it's being paired with Thunderbolts, it's made a little money these last couple weekends. It'll allow it, I think, to cross 40 million, but not do much more. And number 10 this weekend is The King of Kings. As of now, with 681,000, it is up to 59.1 million, the second biggest film ever for Angel Studios. If a movie is released as a second feature at a drive-in, how is the box office determined? There is a certain percentage. You go back to a movie like Tangled. Disney desperately wanted Tangled to get over $200 million, so they paired it with Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides 5-6 months after Tangled came out, just to get it from that 199 something, I think it was 199.8, to get it over $200 million. It's a certain percentage. I think the studio determines what that is. Look at Snow White, which expanded to more indoor theaters, but also has been at drive-ins with Thunderbolts. Snow White added 335,000. It's at 86.5. It's not going to get to 100 million. It's not even going to get past probably 87.5 million, if that. But Disney wanted a little more money for Snow White, so they got it, pairing it at drive-ins. Captain America, down to 78,000 this weekend, but it's at 200.5 million. It already crossed 200 million, but pair it with Thunderbolts, give it a little more money. What'll be very interesting is which movie gets paired with Lilo and Stitch. Is it probably going to be Thunderbolts? Probably, but maybe not. I mean, maybe they go back a little bit. I actually thought Disney was going to wait on Snow White at drive-ins for Lilo and Stitch, but they wanted the money early. You look at Mission Impossible. Is Novocaine, which actually I don't think hit 20 million, is Paramount going to put Novocaine after Mission Impossible so it can cross 20 million? I think the answer is going to be yes, because those are the only Paramount movies so far this year. What else we got? Lionsgate can put anything they want with Ballerina. Karate Kid Legends, the only other Sony Columbia movie this year. Paddington in Peru. That would actually be probably a decent pairing. As far as families and everything, Karate Kid Legends and then Paddington in Peru. And so that'll get a little bit of a boost. What else we got coming? How to Train Your Dragon. When Jurassic World opens in July, then Megan is the week before, so some drive-ins might wait and put Megan with Jurassic World. A lot of thought goes into all these things, but there you go. Let's see. Also this weekend, Warfare added 558,000. It's at 25.2 for A24. And I mentioned The Legend of Ochi. Only, 55,000, 2.4 million. Not a lot for that film. Juliet and Romeo only did 350,000. It was in 1,350 theaters. That's bad. $259 per theater average for Juliet and Romeo. And I heard not great things about it. I didn't see it. And then you've got Friendship, which opened in 6 theaters, $452,000, a $75,000 per screen average. That is excellent. That is a year high. And now Friendship goes to more theaters next weekend and even more nationwide on the 23rd, where I think it has a little competition against Lilo and Mission Impossible, The Last Rodeo as well, which I've already seen. But A24 did have a big impact limited. I did think if they opened Friendship wide this weekend, it would have been the top new movie for sure. Would have made at least $5 million. Maybe it would have made a run at $7 or $8 million bucks. But they decided to go limited to get that high per theater average. So this week coming up, Final Destination Bloodlines. Probably the #1 movie. Warner Brothers has that. Probably #1 against 3rd weekend of Thunderbolts and 5th weekend of Sinners. We'll see how high it can be. Also opening is Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is the film with The Weeknd, and that is from Lionsgate. So maybe Lionsgate in drive-ins with that has that, and then Shadow Force. Final Destination Bloodlines, also a film called The Ruse, and my new LCJ Q&A podcast episode, animationscoop.com Q&A tomorrow with Robert Valley, Oscar-nominated director of the animated short Pear Cider and Cigarettes, which is really good. He's got a new episode of Love, Death, and Robots called 400 Boys that premieres this Thursday, May 15 on Netflix. That conversation will be available tomorrow. We have a great one about that, about pear cider and cigarettes, and some other things. So check that out tomorrow. Pete has seen Friendship, really funny but deep cringe comedy. I've heard interesting things about Friendship. I've heard some people love it and some people kind of in between. I'm looking forward to it because I want a good comedy, but we'll see what happens. I think it'll do pretty well when it goes nationwide. I think, though, again, it's got that Memorial Day weekend competition. So Love, Death, and Robots interview, check that out tomorrow. And the fall TV schedules are coming out because it's the upfront week. Every network, channel, platform is going to put out their fall lineups. CBS has already put out their lineup, but you got NBC, CW, Fox, ABC, Amazon, other platforms, other channels this week going to do the upfront. So you'll be looking at those schedules. If there's anything really interesting from those, I will post it. And check all that out. X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. I was at 10,000 followers on X. I just dipped below to 9,999. If you want to get me back up to 10,000, follow me on X at LCJ Reviews. Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're here every Sunday, but I believe this next episode coming up is going to be on Saturday, I think. But I'll let you know if that's the case. It would be Saturday at noon if it is the case. I have not watched The Studio. I've been watching a lot of other things, from Stanley Tucci's new show to some other series, some stuff I can't talk about yet. Had to devote time to the 2-part Pee-wee doc, which is really good, and some other things going on. I'll catch up, I think, on The Studio at some point. There's other movies I got to catch up on. I will be seeing Hurry Up tomorrow this week, so look for my thoughts on that later this week. And TooFast2Films.com has thoughts on Thunderbolts. No new episode this week. We're taking a little time off, but we'll be back soon. And more from the LCJ Q&A and AnimationScoop.com, and more coming at you real soon. Thanks for being here today for this episode of LCJ Live. Happy Mother's Day. Have a good day. It's a nice sunny day here in New York. Hope everyone is doing well. And Tucci in Italy is next Sunday. When we're back here next time, we'll talk about Final Destination Bloodlines, and we will and Hurry Up tomorrow, and we will preview the big, gigantic Lilo and Stitch Mission Impossible showdown at the box office for Memorial Day weekend. It is going to be a gigantic one for movie theaters. Thanks for being here for LCJ Live. Happy Mother's Day. Take care. Bye-bye.